This is Transcend with Nat, where we are awakening to the spiritual heart, sharing stories and awarenesses along the path of transcendence. Hi, and welcome to Transcend with Nat. This is Nat. I am your host. Today, I am going to discuss with you a couple ways, a couple methods, techniques of dealing with life's heavies, as well as how to gain more clarity and invite spiritual assistance into your life in a very practical way. And to do that, I'm going to be using my book, Transcending the Practice of Spiritual Living, Volume 2, and go through a couple things that are presented in that book and discuss them further here. But first, I want to give you some information about an amazing opportunity for you, and it's also an amazing opportunity for me. I'm doing a retreat just down the road from where I am now, from my home here in Isabela in Puerto Rico. We are going to be doing a retreat, 5-day retreat. And by we, I mean Gretchen and myself, Gretchen Bleiler, who is a 2-time Olympic snowboarder, a silver medalist in the Olympics, has won the X Games a bunch of times. And I met Gretchen at the University of Santa Monica at the 2-year program teaching spiritual psychology. And we did a workshop last summer in Aspen. And this retreat is an amazing opportunity to really put into practice those tools of letting go and having an opportunity to reconnect with your soul, with your authentic self, with who you truly are, and to let go of the things that are in the way of living more in that in your life. It's a 5-day retreat. It's going to take place at this beautiful place. It's right across the street from the beach. You'll be able to walk to the beach. From the balconies, you can see the ocean. It's really beautiful. Part of the retreat, we're going to be doing the real inner work, but also we're going to have some fun adventures. And we're going to have some adventures in the mornings of learning to surf a very gentle wave that's right nearby. That is one of the breaks that I go to. There's another part of it that's for more advanced. And if you are a more advanced surfer, you're welcome to do that if there's waves there. But there's an opportunity to get a lesson to learn for the first time in this really nice sandbar that is really gentle to learn to surf. And you'll have that opportunity. The other thing we'll be doing is you'll have a beginner course in free diving. So you'll learn some breathing techniques, you'll learn some techniques on how to do free diving, and then right out from the house, there's this beautiful place called the Blue Hole, and it's at Shack's Beach, and I go there during the summer all the time. Well, not all the time, to be honest, but I go there because it's absolutely beautiful. And there's this deep, like, sand bottom blue hole, they call it, because it's really this beautiful blue. And you can take into practice, if you're comfortable with the free diving practices right there. It's quite fun and beautiful, and I think is an amazing opportunity to get a beginner course in that, as well as e-foiling. And you can look that up if you don't know what it is. It's e-foiling. It has a little electronic motor on it, and you stand on a board, and there's a mast coming down from the board, like a rudder type of looking thing. And you actually the board ends up, and you end up completely out of the water. And there's this, like, one piece of metal or whatever it's made of, some composite, that's going into the water, and you're floating above the water. And it's a really great opportunity. So, and you don't have to be a pro at anything. You can be an absolute beginner and have some adventures, as well as at the end, we're going to do a ride on the beach with some horses. So that's a little beach walk trail ride on the beach right out from near where you will be staying. And then in the afternoons, we're going to be working on limiting beliefs, ways that you block yourself mentally. We're going to be looking at the emotional blocks and hurts and finding ways to release those. There's going to be a really big focus in the retreat on listening. And so we're going to give you some tools for listening. Listening is so important. I was working on this retreat the other day with Gretchen, and we both were talking about how in the workshop, one of the more powerful tools we presented, one of the more powerful things that people got from it was learning to listen, and also that experience of feeling that they were being heard. That is something that we're going to weave into this workshop in as many levels as we can, so that you have that experience and that practice with others of listening. Also, there's going to be really good food. We're going to have really good chefs. Food is going to be provided. There's going to be fresh fish from the island. It's going to be an amazing retreat. So if you want to get more information on that, you can go to my website where you can get information on all the things I'm doing. You can also get the book, Transcending the Practice of Spiritual Living, Volume 2. I have a weekly light gathering on Tuesday nights that you can attend, that's online, that's on Zoom, and I'd love to see you there. It's an opportunity to put things in the light. Obviously, there's a lot of theme in my work of letting go, of bringing the light in, of reconnecting to the light, of finding those ways to integrate into your life that greater connection with the spirit within you, with your own divinity, with your own soul, and having greater awareness of that in your life. So go to transcend.online and you can get more about all of that. So let's go into the conversation of today. Sometimes life gets heavy. Sometimes it's hard to get clarity on which way to turn. Sometimes it's challenging. I deal with it. I know you deal with it. We all deal with the difficulties of the human condition of being here, our difficulties with ourselves, our difficulties with not knowing what to do, how to get out of a situation, all of these kind of issues that we all go through in our lives. So I wanted to share with you a couple ways in which I handle that in my life. The first one is what I call a burn letter. I write a letter and you get to decide who represents that mystical quality in your life. And for me, that's my teacher, John Rogers. So I write to him, and that has been very effective for me. If you don't have that, you could write to Jesus, you could write directly to God. It can help if you have someone that you look to as someone who's truly in touch and can work in those other levels mystically, and then write that letter to them. And that can be Jesus, that can be Buddha, that can be God. You know, this is called practical spirituality, so it means that you need to test it out. You need to see what works and recognize, it's being a spiritual scientist, recognize how it works and how it doesn't and what that is. For me, I do it with my teacher, John Roger, and I write a letter, Dear JR, that's what I call him, and I write my letter of what's going on and the difficulties I'm having around it and how I don't have clarity. And there's a prayer in there underlying it all of asking for greater clarity, asking for spiritual assistance, asking for him to look in on it, for the light. And you can do that. You can just write to God if you want, but you need to be, it's a way to write down your prayer, to write down what's going on. And there's a process somehow I find in the writing with my hand on a piece of paper, that if I'm doing that, there's this other element. Sometimes I've written a note on a device because that's all I have with me is a phone, and then I delete it, and that's my way of letting it go. But the greater, I think, effective way to do it is to write it on a piece of paper, and then you burn that. And all of this that I'm introducing today, do safely. If it involves fire, make sure to do it in a safe way. Burn it in a fireplace or someplace that is safe. So you write that letter, talk about it. It's a form of prayer in a way, and then you burn it, and then you let it go, and you see what happens. Often, I have found when I write JR, that my pressure inside lets go, or lets go even a little bit sometimes when I write it, when I burn it, when I let it go. It also invites and opens me to that greater assistance that is beyond me, that spiritual assistance, to the light coming in more fully. And there's a more visceral thing that happens when you are doing this process physically like this. And you're not just saying a prayer, you're actually writing things down, you're actually burning it, you're letting it go. There's a symbology for the basic self, which is that basic level, the subconscious level inside of you that handles your habits in your body and beating your heart and all these systems of yourself that are just below the conscious level, that it likes that symbology, those kind of practices, that symbolic of letting go. You're burning it. So it can be effective at that level of also letting go and welcoming greater light into your life. The second one, I've talked about this many times, but I think it's worth reiterating. And there's a whole description of it in my book, Transcending the Practice of Spiritual Living, both volume 1 and 2. In volume 2, it's appendix 2. Volume 2, appendix 2. There you go. And that's freeform writing. And that's a way of letting go of the unconscious blocks. It's one of the greatest tools for doing that I have found. It's really helps let go of the pressures that can build up inside of you that are unconscious, that are coming from other places. It can let go of things that have been bothering you that you weren't even aware of. It's just really amazing. And I'm going to give you a brief description of how to do that. I recommend you getting my book and getting more on that. Also, I learned it from my teacher, John Roger, and he has a lot more information on the benefits and things of that nature from freeform writing in his book, Spiritual Warrior, The Art of Spiritual Living. See, mine's the practice of spiritual living. He demonstrated to me and taught me the art of it, and now I'm practicing. So there you go. You light a candle if it's safe to do. Not necessary, but it's nice. Sit somewhere comfortable. You're not going to be disturbed by anyone. Put a sign on your door if you need to. Lock the door. Turn off your phones and anything that will make noises to distract you. Use a pad of paper and a ballpoint pen. A pen that's not going to break. Like a pencil can break. You want something that's not going to break, because sometimes if anger comes up, you might write really fast and you could break a pencil very easily when that emotion starts coming out. You ask for the light for spiritual protection, for the highest good, so that only that which is for your highest good comes forward, and that anything that is released be dissolved into that higher light for the highest good. So that's one way I would call it in, that spiritual light, light of the Holy Spirit. Write whatever, you're going to start writing whatever comes into your mind. Your thoughts may come faster than you can actually keep up writing, so you may miss words that you're actually thinking, and that's okay. You just keep up with your thoughts. This is not automatic writing. You're not letting the pen write for you. You're not giving up any control of your own consciousness here. You are literally writing down the thoughts that come into your mind. And sometimes that thought may be, I don't know what to write. You write down, I don't know what to write. This is stupid. This is stupid is what you write. Whatever thoughts come into your mind, and even if they don't make sense, green giraffe jumped over the parking lot, whatever. It doesn't matter what comes out, because how our unconscious can store things could be that there was some wallpaper when you were a kid that had giraffes on it, and you had a green blanket around you, and somehow it brought that all together as some green giraffe. Your unconscious stores things in all sorts of ways. So sometimes when you write these things down, it can release something in the unconscious. So you continue doing that. I recommend it at first, do it for 15 minutes. Do it for 15 minutes a day. Or you could say, do it for one piece of paper or two pieces of paper, just to get yourself in the habit of doing it. You can Do it for an hour a day if you want. I think having some consistency can be really helpful, especially if you're going through a difficult time, to even if it's just a little bit every morning, every night before bed, just set a time and do this. When you are done, and at any time actually, do not read back what you wrote. This is a very important point. You do not want to read back anything that you wrote. Garbage out, you want it to stay out. If you reread it, you can put it back in. And when you put it back in, it can be even reinforced. So then it's really hard to get out. Please just don't read it back. Immediately upon finishing, rip it up. You don't want to keep thinking about what you wrote either. You want to rip it up, burn it in a safe place if that is possible. If it's not possible, rip it up into small things, throw it in a trash that you're not going to see again, and that you feel is safe, that no one else is going to be going through and looking at this stuff. But it's so much better if you have the opportunity, you have a place to burn it. That is the recommended way of doing this, because it also helps release something in the consciousness when you see it burn and it's really gone. So do that, burn it, and then get busy doing something else. Don't think about it. Don't sit there and ruminate on anything that was released. You're literally taking the trash out, and then you're moving on to the next thing. So that's how you can do freeform writing. Hey, if all you can do is 5 minutes, do 5 minutes. Do something. Do something. Do this freeform writing, and you can read these directions in my book, Transcending the Practice of Spiritual Living, Volume 2. These 2 techniques are invaluable. It's not a lot to describe them to you, but the benefits are so much. Writing that burn letter, I've used that at times that I just don't know what else to do. And it has shifted things for me in my life. It's shifted things seemingly out there, like things actually have just shifted after I write that, and definitely within me, and definitely able to let go more by doing that method of the burn letter, as well as freeform writing. It's amazing how it can release these pressures in your consciousness, these disturbances, these unconscious things that you didn't know were even affecting you because they're unconscious. And when they release, you're like, oh, wow, I feel lighter. Things are shifting inside of me in my life. I can feel the changes. I can experience the changes of how I am perceiving things. So I highly recommend these 2 techniques. These are extremely valuable. We're going to be doing some freeform writing in that retreat because it is such a valuable way of letting go. In fact, in that retreat that we're going to be doing, which you can find out more on my website, transcend.online, we're going to be working on letting go of things in the emotions, the mind, the unconscious, and then re-establishing that connection and attunement with the soul, with the eternal essence of who you are. So I encourage you to look that up. I encourage you to join us in the light gathering if you could use more light in your life, and who can't? And that's on Tuesday nights for those of us in the Western Hemisphere, and it's Wednesday morning for those in Australia, New Zealand, places like that. So God bless you all. Until next time, Berush Beishan, the blessings already are. Bye-bye. Just forgive yourself. Come on, let it be, 'cause I'm free.